Hello and welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Shrikant coming to you live from India's technology hub, Bengaluru. And to kick things off this evening, it's Akshay Tritiya, the day when everybody talks about gold. And this has been the buzz online as well for the last few years. Not just the e-commerce behemoths such as Flipkart, Amazon and Paytm, but also niche sites such as Bluestone as well as Carrot Lane. So what's the mood like this year? Are there offers galore across platforms? Are they somewhat silent this year? For more on that, I'm going to bring on my colleague Rahul Daima, who's been doing some scouting for deals this Akshay Tritiya. Rahul, is it the usual discount on gold coins, discount on appliances? What are all these online giants, online platforms doing different this time on Akshay Tritiya?
Chandra, I clearly remember, I also looked up the deals last year when we did a special show on Startup Central. So if I were to match what was last time and this time, it's largely the interest from online e-tailers is still the same. To really break it down for you, for viewers watching the show and haven't done some shopping and want to do it at the convenience of their home, Carrot Lane, which, Titan and Tanishq really have a strategic partnership. They have 25% flat off on diamond prices, all diamond jewelry. So all the women out there can check that out. Also, they are giving 25% off on the making charge of gold jewelry on the platform. Bluestone, and we will hear from Gaurav in terms of what the trends are. They had their Akshay Tritiya sale 2 weeks back where they were offering about 24% discount on jewelry, 0% making charge. But all of that closed 2 weeks back. Today, they are delivering the products to customers on the auspicious day of Akshay Tritiya. Amazon and Flipkart, 5% off on gold coins. It's auspicious to buy a gold coin. Silver coins have about 50% off. Paytm Mall, expect them to give you a lot of cash backs. So if you're planning to buy TVs and AC and other home appliances, up to 10,000 worth cashback is what is being offered. So there are some deals online that people can try. And, for people looking for appliances, Paytm Mall is the place to go. Chandra, are you planning to spend some time and look for deals online?
Rahul, as you're aware, the appraisals are not in yet. So maybe when I have the budget for that, I will do some shopping online, hopefully. And hopefully there will be some other occasion and some other deals to look forward to. But to really bring in an expert voice here, who better than Bluestone's founder, Gaurav Singh Kushwaha, who joins us live from Bengaluru, from his office in Bengaluru on Outer Ring Road. Gaurav, has it been a busy time for you? Because, we've been reading reports online and it seems somewhat subdued this year. I mean, some people are talking about, retail gold sales not picking up as much, maybe because the overall price of gold itself has shot up. Some people are talking about, whereas others are saying because of remonetization, perhaps it's picked up. What trends can you really tell us about in terms of what you have observed as far as Bluestone is concerned?
Sure. Hello, Chandra. So I would say the March was slightly subdued, but April, especially around Akshay Tritiya, for last 2 to 3 weeks, we have seen a significant uptake in the sales. In fact, if I compare it with the last year, the sales are up almost 60%. So I wouldn't complain. I think despite the high gold rate, people are actually excited about Akshay Tritiya. They are making purchases. One of the significant trends that we have also seen is a shift towards diamond jewelry that we are observing, especially on our platform.
Right. Gaurav, I also wanted to understand, you mentioned diamond jewelry. Again, is a dominant trend gold? Are we seeing this shift towards diamond platinum? Because I remember this is a trend that you spoke about a few years back as well. So are we seeing a stronger shift in that direction?
We are, especially on our platform. I think the kind of audience we are attracting, they are more amenable to buying diamond jewelry. In fact, they are more amenable to buy jewelry for wearing regularly, or as we call wearable jewelry, as opposed to jewelry that you generally keep in lockers. And what we have seen is wearables typically have a higher percentage of diamond. So if I compare it with, let's say, 4 or 5 years back when we just started, at that time diamond was just 30-35% of our sales. Right now it's easily almost 65 to 70% of our sales. So that shift is definitely happening. I think it's happening even faster on online platforms compared to traditional jewelers. But people are actually moving towards diamond. People are actually moving towards buying jewelry that they can wear. People are actually moving towards jewelry that are great designs.
Right. Gaurav, also want to understand, you said that you did see, somewhat of a subdued trend in March, but it's peaked during Akshay Tritiya. But compared to previous years, is the overall trend the same this year? It's subdued. I mean, are people gravitating towards online? Just want to understand the overall trend. Is the sentiment, consumer sentiment, somewhat subdued this year?
I wouldn't say so. Specifically on our platform, which is essentially online, the jump that we have seen over last year is almost 50 to 60%, which I would believe is it's a pretty healthy jump. Now there's also a mix of seasonality and also a general shift that is happening towards online. So it's a mix of both. But all in all, I think it's a pretty robust growth.
Right. And Gaurav, just want to understand how difficult has it been for a standalone player, say like you, to compete with someone like a Flipkart and Amazon, a Paytm Mall. All of them have offers. Your closest rival, CaratLane, has a strategic investor in Titan. So, is it possible to survive, thrive as a standalone player? Because though, in terms of value, your ticket size would obviously be huge per unit. Volumes will not be so much. So how has it been to really thrive as a standalone player? Where do you see Bluestone going in the next 6 to say 12 months?
Yeah. So jewelry, if you see even offline, it's a category of standalone players. Okay, so just to give you a parallel especially on your question with respect to Flipkart and Amazon, in offline world, if you see, I mean, there are big retailers like Shoppers Stop, Lifestyle and so on, but they have no play in jewelry. What we are seeing is very similar in online world also. So whereas Paytm, Flipkart, etc., I mean, they sell a lot of coins because coins is more of a commodity. When it comes to jewelry, they hardly have any game. So in fact, in terms of market share, online market share in jewelry, Bluestone and CaratLane are the dominant ones with, I would easily say, close to 70-80% of the market. And the marketplaces like Flipkart, Amazon, people go there, buy coins because they're on offer. But for jewelry, they generally don't go to marketplaces.
Right. Before I let you go, Gaurav, I also want to understand in terms of consumer buying behavior, people who log on to Bluestone to buy jewelry, is it from the top metros? Are you seeing that expand to say tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities? And how have you worked around your own distribution? Because, I remember when you explained your model to us, you do everything from designing a jewelry to, delivery end to end. So are you seeing this becoming more broad-based? Is it restricted to just the top metros? What perspective can you give us on that? Because more and more online players are really trying to grow markets beyond the top 6 to 8 cities.
That is correct. In fact, for many of the categories which started early in e-commerce, a big chunk is now coming from tier 3 cities. However, jewelry is a category which people adopt in the end. I mean, you have to have bought books and mobiles and your clothes online for 3-4 years before you actually graduate to jewelry. Hence, what we are seeing is still a big chunk of our sales actually come from tier 1 and tier 2 cities compared to tier 3. So tier 2 is gaining ground compared to tier 1. So around 2 years back, almost 70% of the sale was from tier 1 cities, which now has come down to almost 60%. So tier 2 is picking. I think tier 3 will take some more time to pick.
All right, Gaurav. On that note, thank you so much for joining us again on ET Now Startup Central, and perhaps we will track Bluestone closely in the coming months to see what trends play out as far as online jewelry is concerned. But moving away from that to the other story that we have on the show today, and moving away from Akshay Tritiya to a global executive who's in India. We are talking about Uber's global CEO Bernard Harford. He's in India barely weeks after his boss Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi made a visit here. And on his maiden visit, Bernard Harford spoke about doubling down investments in India. Now remember, this commitment comes even as there are strong murmurs of SoftBank, which is a common investor in both Uber and Ola, perhaps pushing for some sort of consolidation in India, because this is a pattern that Uber has done both in China, where they ceded their market there in favor of Didi Chuxing, as well as Southeast Asia, where they recently divested in favor of Grab. But will it play out in India as well? My colleague Ritu Parnana joins us on the show. She attended that briefing today. Ritu, any light at all, any information from Uber as far as their plans with Ola are concerned?
Well, there was no straightforward answer to SoftBank forcing for a merger between Ola and Uber. All that the Uber COO Bernard Harford has said is that they are open to talks of a major collaboration and not any minor collaboration. So if there are any possibilities of a merger between Ola and Uber, it will be a major one. The COO has also emphasized on the fact that Uber's success is hard-coded into India's success, and they will be doubling down their investments in India. He has also said that he will be promoting shared riding in India, that will basically be to offload single passenger vehicles from the roads of India, and it will also help in reducing urban congestion. But there are also a few concerns when it comes to that. For example, if I book a cab from a point and I'm pulling in with someone else, then the cab has to go and pick that other person up, and then it has to drop us to our respective destinations, which means that it will take a longer time than when I try to avail a private vehicle. So those are the concerns that Uber has to keep in mind when it plans on promoting pooled rides more and more. Uber has also said that they do not have any plans of expansion into any other cities. For now, Uber has presence in the top 30 to 35 cities, whereas its next door competitor Ola is present in 110 cities for now. The Uber Indian president Amit Jain has also said that they're very bullish on EVs and are backing government policies for it. He's also said that they are counting on private-public partnerships for development of EV infrastructure, which is essential for EVs. And another good news that the Uber COO has said is that we can expect flying vehicles to be operational by 2022.
A key part of what we're doing with ride sharing is encouraging pooling and getting multiple people in cars. And the reason why that's so powerful is as we get single occupancy cars off the road, we are able to reduce congestion and reduce pollution. And I think that's probably going to be the biggest contributor to speeding things up in terms of transportation in India.
And driving opportunities that are flexible, driving opportunities that are empowering, and opportunities that give and help our driver partners serve with dignity. And lastly, for the riders, as we look at the commuting index, as we look at opportunities, as we look at the ease of going from point A to point B, as we look at affordability, it's changed our landscape in terms of how people get from point A to point B. To continue forward, this has to be done in partnership with governments here and across the world, across multiple dimensions, regulations being one, but also investments in public transport. Those investments have to happen, but they take time and they take billions of dollars. So it's a joint effort that has to continue as we think about the future of our cities, and one aspect of smart cities being getting from point A to point B in the most seamless way possible.
Interestingly, Uber COO also said that their much talked about flying vehicles will become operational by 2022. Are we going to see that in India's skies as well? We'll have to wait and see. But remember, Tesla CEO Elon Musk wasn't too optimistic about flying vehicles we'll really have to wait and see how that goes. But on that note, take a break and come back. On the other side, we have a very interesting panel on the future of the gifting card space. Where is it going? Is India still a cash market, or are millennials gravitating towards gift cards? Take a break and come back to ET Now Startup Central. Welcome back to ET Now Startup Central, and as promised, some insights from a panel that I moderated earlier today at the Quick Silver Gift Card Conclave, where there was a lot of discussion around millennial spending patterns, where Indians spend. Do we still prefer gifting cash to our near and dear ones? Do we prefer gifts, or do we prefer the option that comes somewhere in between in the form of gift cards? Listen into this conversation with some senior executives from the world of retail as well as e-tail.
So this journey the past year has completely been without any boundaries of what we want to do. We kept ourselves so open-minded in the sense that we just said, look for every opportunity to gift and make it personal. So if you ask us and Inspire in terms of, what would your customers say about either your card or what are you trying to develop, it is to connect emotionally. Will we cover the entire spectrum of people in doing that? No, we never will. And I think that's what excites us in terms of the opportunity of gifting in India specifically is so diverse. I mean, you just listen to some of the answers we got today. That itself is at a very nascent stage of what gifting is. I think the gentleman who asked the question said, oh, you give it when you don't know what to do. Well, that's not gifting, right? That's kind of giving a plastic envelope to somebody. So I think what has happened for us in this last 1 year is we're getting inspired by what does the card look like? What is on the card? What does the envelope look like? What's the color of the envelope? What's the theme? What can be different? So we started with Mother's Day. We actually started with Mother's Day last year. That was our rollout of our first gift card that was different, and it was a huge success. Then we celebrated Ramzan. Then we went to Valentine's. So we are going down a slightly different path in the sense we know that the Spar brand is not what we want to gift. I think we're comfortable with that. And we also want to partner with a lot of our partners because we also realize that this is not about competing with him or her or whatever, but if we co-join, chances are that the whole celebration can be much bigger.
Aditya, Flipkart's as usual making headlines for all kinds of reasons, but you can weigh in on the gifting part. As a category, how has it grown for you? And, like Rajiv said, they really started out with Mother's Day and, then it just went on to other occasions. How's it been for Flipkart? Again, do you see patterns here? Are you seeing a pickup in the last couple of years?
Actually, we don't actually, if you go back a couple of years or 3 years back, right, we started realizing that even without a gift card product being sold, there was a lot of gifting already happening on our platform. When you do a checkout, you actually have an option of adding a gift wrap to the product that you want to do.
That's right.
That is your first signal as a customer as to what does the customer want to do. That data itself was very, very telling. Correct? At our scale, if around 1.5 to 2% of transactions are actually gift wrapped, that is massive. Right? I think that was the first signal that the market is already out there. Our platform is an automatic or a natural choice for customers to pick up gift. I think that was the way that the thought process has been built over. I think over the last 12 months, the business has done phenomenally well. I'm not even complaining or even rejoicing on the fact on how the business is growing, because I think as I pointed out that the market out there is so huge.
Your own experience, does it spike during weddings again? Is it very occasion based?
So our journey in this has been, substantially longer than what I've heard my other panelists say. And it actually has changed shape and size in the last 10 years. So I remember when we first started, we used to have vouchers. Every time people would come to us, they would say, oh my God, we've had a fabulous stay in Goa. How can I gift it to my sister, or how can I gift it to our parents? So the first emotion, of course, is that if I've had a fantastic experience, let me go back and let me share it with someone. So I remember in those days, we would create paper vouchers, and it was I think the most arduous process that we would do, because we would have to have, the internal audit guy sitting on our back and saying, what the hell is going on here? So thanks to partners like Quicksilver is when we started to evolve. So we always had the vision. We always wanted to make it something which is very easy for people to understand. When you don't know what to give, when you don't know whatever, I think the world has really moved away from that. Today, when you say it is all about being personal, I think the level of personalization that you can do with a gift card is far beyond.
Are you seeing that veer towards B2C? Is that going to be the next big shift?
Two large trends that we are seeing from a consumer perspective. One is that the concept of loyalty is changing drastically. And if I were to ask anyone, what do you mean by loyalty? If an organization was to say that he is my loyal customer, how do you measure that? Anyone? Just a quick, how does a corporate see a loyal customer?
Return.
Frequent visitor, repeat buyer. Okay? And one of the biggest trend that we are seeing is that organizations have always seen customers as people who transact with them. And they are no longer willing to accept that. And what they are moving towards is more than transaction. They want to build a relationship with an organization or a brand or a product rather than doing a one-off transaction. And until unless organizations move towards this relationship-based marketing models or engagement models, I think the stickiness of the customer is not going to be there.
If there's one term that people keep using when it comes to commerce these days is omni-channel. So, how are you tackling that between physical gift cards and digital gift cards? Where do you see more traction now? I mean, how are you building out multiple channels for this?
So I think we are at the right point in time to discuss this. What we've seen is, so you just need to go back to the fundamental aspect of gifting and why gift cards as a product, why is it actually gaining traction? Like Rajiv said, we are inclined to gift culturally, right? And why gift card? I mean, one of the reasons that was quoted in the morning was, I don't know what the person likes. But what we see is fundamentally it's not really not knowing what the other person actually likes. But I think one of the most important commodities that we all really lack is time, right? So a gift card really helps you save a substantial amount of time because it's easy to procure.
Interesting insights there on the future of gifting. I don't know if people will lean completely towards gift cards because clearly cash is a very important part of India. But I'm going to leave you with the number for the day that we've picked out, and that's 8,000. If you're wondering what 8,000 is, that's the number of cafes that Starbucks is going to shut down on the afternoon of May 29th. All these are branches owned by Starbucks in the US, and they're going to do that to impart training on racial tolerance for over 1.5 lakh employees. Remember, this comes days after an incident in Philadelphia where 2 black men standing at a Starbucks cafe were arrested, leading to a huge outrage. So that's something to keep in mind, something that Starbucks is doing towards encouraging, inculcating racial tolerance among its workforce. But on that note, completely out of time in this edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thanks so much for watching and keep it with ET Now.